we've been saying, we're about a day away now from CNBC's Republican presidential debate in Michigan as the major candidates prepare to square off on all issues about the economy. Let's talk to one of the Republican hopefuls right now. We're pleased to welcome back Congressman Ron Paul, who joins us in this first on CNBC interview. Welcome back, sir. Good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
Inevitably, when candidates talk about the economy, the first thing is about jobs and what they will do to create jobs. Aren't we at the point, though, now, Congressman, after the years of things that the federal government's trying to do to create jobs, and it just hasn't worked? We're still at 9% unemployment here. Are we at a point now where the federal government should step aside and let the jobs market grow on its own at some point, whenever it's going to happen?
Yeah, but they should have done that a lot sooner. They shouldn't have created the bubble, because it's the bubble that caused the recession, depression, and caused the unemployment. So, yes, they should have done a lot less. But now what they need to do is back off, because the market wants to correct the inequities and the too much debt, and yet the politicians, the Congress as well as the Federal Reserve, won't allow that to happen. They keep propping up the bad debt, whether it's international debt or housing debt. Our Federal Reserve keeps buying the debt and holding the debt, and they keep propping this up. And as long as you do that, the correction doesn't come. So we've delayed it 4 years. In a sense, that's what Japan did, and they went into the doldrums, right. And that's what we're doing. So actually, I think we've been...
Well, I was to say, by the same token, all politicians, and yourself included, wouldn't you look like you're neglecting your duties if you don't try to do something to create jobs? I mean, isn't that what happens when you get candidates together, when you get members of Congress together, when you bring them before the media, and the question inevitably comes up, how will you create jobs? Where will the jobs come from? You can't just say, well, it'll happen eventually. You have to do something, right?
Yeah, you have to get out of the way. We had a depression that lasted 17 years because they had adopted that philosophy that you had to get involved. In 1921, they got out of the way, and it was over in a year. So just to do something because politicians are supposed to do something, even if it's wrong, that just compounds our problem. What if spending is the problem? That's right. What I believe the real problem is.
Well, let me ask
too
you,
much spending.
Tomorrow...
So this is why I want to...
Go ahead. Finish your thought there. I'm sorry.
Oh, this is why I emphasize cutting the spending, and I propose that we cut $1 trillion out of the budget, because that's doing something positive.
Well, then let me ask you then, with the super committee still meeting behind closed doors, their deadline is just a few days away on the 23rd. Are you convinced they will be able to come up with $1.2 trillion of cuts over the next 10 years?
No, it's no way, and that's a dream. They're not even cutting anything. They're just cutting proposed increases that are built into the baseline. You have to cut. If we're spending too much, you have to cut in reality. But no, they're only nibbling away on the edges, but they don't ask the question, can we sustain a philosophy of government where we police the world and take care of everybody in the world, as well as an entitlement system that is totally out of control? They haven't even asked that question. So nothing is going to come out of that committee, and I don't see how very much is even going to come out of the Congress for the foreseeable future until we have a new president and a new Congress in many ways.
What would you cut specifically then to contribute to a decline in the debt?
Well, my proposal was I'd eliminate 5 departments, and I'd cut a lot of the military expenditures that we use overseas that doesn't help us. Like, why do we keep troops in Japan and South Korea and Germany and subsidize their economies? But why do we continue to fight wars that make no sense whatsoever? We've been in Afghanistan for 10 years, and the American people are sick and tired of this. Why do we take care of the world when we can't even feed our people at home and give medical care at home? So that whole philosophy has to change. So, and basically I cut a lot, but I also go back to a baseline of 2006. And people get very nervous. You mean you'd cut all the way back to 2006? Yeah, sure, because we're spending too much money. And the money that we spend takes it out of the economy. Politicians don't know how to spend the money. Bureaucrats make a lot of money spending it, but that money and the decisions have to be made in the economy. So I think there's very few of us in Washington, and essentially nobody else is running for president, that really wants to cut and change the problems basically, and look at monetary policy, look at foreign policy. They just want to pretend they're doing something to say that they're doing something. But if you're doing the wrong thing, what good is it going to do?
Yeah. Two quick questions. One, I know you're tired of being asked about it, but it's incumbent upon me to ask anyway. Are you going to run as an independent if you drop out of the Republican race here? Wouldn't it make sense to run as an independent at some point?
Well, it doesn't make any sense to even talk about it because right now our polls show we're doing pretty darn well, both in Iowa and New Hampshire, and we're in striking distance. We're in good third place. So for me to think anything other than doing my job that people are sending me money to do, it's an impossible thought. So it doesn't even cross my mind as a possibility.
All right. Now let me ask you about gold. You are, going back 30 years when I started my career, you're one of the first guys I ever heard at an investment conference making the case for gold. And of course, you talked about the gold standard, but I'm not going to go there. But where do you think gold is going right now? How much higher do you think it goes and why?
Well, the question is how much lower is the dollar going to go in purchasing power? And I says to infinity unless we change our ways. Because if you look at the gold dollar in 1913 when the Fed started, we've lost about 98% of its value. So if we continue to do what we're doing, it could go to infinity. But it is not, it's the best measurement of the value of the currency. There's no advantage to anybody to have a weak currency. The gold tells us that we have a weakening dollar and a weakening currency, but the whole world does, so it's hard to sort out. So it's going to go up a lot more, which is virtually saying the dollar has a long way to go down on purchasing power. That's why the middle class gets wiped out, and that is why the standard of living is going down for the people. They already know it, and that's why there's people very unhappy in this country, and they'd like to blame a few people for all the problems rather than looking at the philosophy of government, the monetary system, and the spending, because that's where you can find the answers to our problems.
Congressman Hall, always a pleasure to talk to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Bill.